into the online broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey guys, welcome back into AfterBuzz TV's The Good Wife. We are back after our mid-season break here at the start of March. We're talking about Dark Money today, the new episode this evening on The Good Wife. I'm Bobby DeMuro, as always, great to be back, joined by Alison Law and Tara Johnson.
Hello.
Ladies, how are you two?
It feels so good to be back, Bobby.
You said that like a Kardashian. How was the break? What did you guys do in our little winter break?
I don't even remember. Like, it's been so long.
Yes.
It feels like 3 months and like 6 months.
3 months,
How
right?
But it
long?
was because we had that weird 2-week interlude where we got 2 episodes and then went
Yeah.
back on a break, so it just didn't feel like working. Now, granted, we shouldn't complain about it because The Good Wife does 22 episodes
Yes.
a year,
Right.
where most hour-long dramas are doing, 14 or whatever.
Right.
So they are going above and beyond, but they do take a long break for football and all that sort of stuff,
all
award
that
shows.
stuff. I watched all the award stuff, and now Alicia and everybody's back, and I'm back too. Woohoo.
Thank goodness, they're back. We got a lot to talk about today. Before we do it, if you haven't already, or if you're joining us for the first time now that the break is over, this is the perfect time. If you're watching on YouTube, hit subscribe to the AfterBuzz TV channel. If you haven't already, shame on you. And if you're listening on iTunes to the audio version, you better hit subscribe to the podcast and rate us. Hopefully well.
5 stars.
Yeah.
10 stars.
Sure, if that's an option.
Yeah. But if not, 5 stars.
Whatever the highest number, no, it's 5. Rate us 5 stars on there. Tell us what you think. You can also comment on YouTube and Twitter. I'm at Bobby DeMuro. She is That's A Law, and TJ wagging her tail.
That's me, wagging
That's
it.
on
A
Twitter.
Law.
Wagging it.
So if you guys want to tweet us during the show or afterwards, we're around there. Okay, let's just jump in.
Jump in.
Let's talk about Colin first. Colin Sweeney's back, so you know it's going to be kooky and creepy and nice suits. Lamont Bishop has some competition for best wardrobe on the show this episode.
you
That's
think?
true. That's true.
Yeah, come on. Colin Sweeney's got nice suits.
Yeah, I didn't
Nice
like the
shoes.
ties. I didn't like the ties.
Really?
I didn't like the ties this time, but it's okay.
Okay.
But he and his wife are the kookiest, craziest, most eerie couple ever. They seem like they're absolutely perfect for each other.
Renata she has a few screws loose.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That makes the relationship fun, right?
Well, let's talk about that relationship. Before we get into his story, Allison, I want to ask you a question about a scene that really got you hot and bothered. Don't look at me like that.
Which one?
Let's talk about Colin on trial, on the stand at trial, talking about dominating women and men dominate women. What, Allison, was your reaction to that scene?
I mean, every once in a while, us ladies, a little bit of foreplay, and we don't mind when he's dominant every once in a while, but it's not an ongoing thing. But I could relate when he was saying that. It was, you can relate.
I was like,
to
Mama,
that.
don't include me in this. My mama watches me. Don't include me.
I can relate to that,
That was the G-rated version.
My
yeah.
ex-fiance, but
The G-rated version, Allison, of what you said in the viewing room.
what are you talking
I'm not
about?
going to repeat it because I don't want to get an FCC notice or something. But it was intense.
It was
She's
different.
joking.
Let's just say
Did
she
I say-
enjoyed herself.
Are you agreeing?
No, I'm definitely agreeing. No, but it's
What
okay,
happened
though.
to you over the
That's
break?
okay, though.
You're
That's
acting
all right.
up.
That's all right, though.
Acting
It's
up.
totally all right.
She's supposed to be on my side.
I
and she's
am on your side. I am on your side because anything that brings you pleasure, I'm happy for that. And this
Girl,
scene,
but-
there you go.
It was cute. It was cute. I mean, just like me, I'm cute, so hey.
Okay, let's talk Colin. Let's jump in now. People, if they haven't turned it off already, they definitely just turned it off on that interchange. Let's talk about Call It Murder. That's the name of the fictional show. The fictional character was, where is he? Bernard Loomis.
Loomis, yeah.
Who, by the way, I wonder who that actor was on the stand with Bernard Loomis.
I don't know. It was the
No
weirdest thing. Please tell me that it was the same actor
it was.
playing
Same
both
actor,
roles.
guys.
Because if you were
That's
able
the
to
joke.
find someone,
Yeah.
I was like, this is the strangest thing ever.
That's there. He was playing like a weird, almost kind of a Beatle or something. He was like, he was like a member of the Beatles on the stand. It was incredible.
Yeah.
This is a classic Law and Order type show, obviously, where they take stories from the headlines, and this one didn't change anything. Law and Order will change some things, or it ends differently, or whatever. Call It Murder obviously didn't change anything from the facts of the case. The interesting thing, though, with this is Colin Sweeney has already been acquitted in a criminal court of law, and he has also been found not liable for the civil suit, the wrongful death suit afterwards. And what we know about O.J. Simpson, which seems to be the acquittal stereotype for American court right now, you can't try somebody twice. Double jeopardy doesn't apply.
Right.
So Colin Sweeney could have gotten on the stand and said, "I totally murdered my wife. Here's how I did it. It's exactly what you thought," and he would not have spent a day in jail for that. Now, he would have been maybe held liable civilly in a different case, but there's no criminal prosecution after that. So I guess I'll open it up to you guys, seeing this now and seeing Colin again. This murder case is, seasons old. But seeing him again, did he kill his wife? Because we've never talked about this. The three of us have never talked about this.
Right.
Did he kill his wife?
Duh. I mean, what the heck? Yeah, right.
Yeah, it seems like
It's
he might have
obvious.
killed her with a little flair, though. I have to say, given based on the show,
was the flair? The
show,
tie choking
it
her?
was the choking, it was the turning the music up, it was the let me take the tie from her neck. Oh, let me call you back 911. It wasn't just a regular murder.
That's a little flair. That's what you call
You know what I
a
mean?
crazy
It wasn't like
flair.
a snapped murder where you just burn the person
So
and
you
walk
trying
away.
to say
I mean,
he did it classy or something?
I don't even judge. I'm not even going to judge and rank murder, but he definitely did it the Colin Sweeney way. Let's put it that way.
But did he have Chum Hum in the background on his laptop while he did it in real life?
Don't think so.
That's where
Okay.
they made the mistake at.
And that is where they made
That's
the
where
mistake.
they made the huge mistake.
Yeah, that is the huge mistake. And it's so stupid of the producers in the fake show, the Call It Murder show, to have put that in there because it's so unnecessary. It's not like it's Sweeney's company. It's a different client of Alicia and Diane's firm.
Right.
But it's not Sweeney's company, so he doesn't stand to be hit with it in a different way.
Right.
So why would you even have it on screen for, what do they say, 3 minutes and 42 seconds? That's an eternity.
That's a huge mistake to make by a network and a show. Like the lawyers were off base. I mean, the producers, the camera people, everyone just missed this one. And it's a huge mistake to miss. But they're right. It could have cost them $50 million for like
That's a
3
lot of
minutes and
money.
42 seconds.
Yeah.
They can use my trademark and pay me $50 million.
I would have sued him for it. I would have.
That's what they were gonna do.
But I would have
Yeah.
went to the judge, presented what I had, and then went against him and sued him just because. Like, that's what you get.
That's what you
should've
get.
never
Well,
tried
I mean,
to come
evidently, Alicia and Carrie must not have thought that Colin was going to walk out of this thing. That Krause, that the attorney for the producers, the attorney for the television network or whatever, had enough, the preponderance of the evidence was enough to, not convict him, but to make him, beyond a reasonable doubt, say that, he could have done this murder, so therefore our interpretation is not defamation because it could have actually happened.
I have to say that whole when the judge was like, "Are you prepared to prove that Colin Sweeney killed his wife?" and go through the whole thing, that was so bogus to me and such kind
It
of
was
a
so fake,
waste.
right?
Yeah, it was like a waste of time almost. I mean, we've gone through this. We've gone through the murder trial. We've gone through the wrongful, lawsuit, the wrongful death suit, and now to bring this up again and go through it all over again, I was like, why are we doing this? I mean, it did bring out a lot of stuff about Alicia, and I'm sure we'll talk about that. But I thought it made Carrie and Diane look really bad because it seemed as if when it came to this case, I mean, Colin kept going to Alicia. That's his own comfort zone, but they seemed as if they had nothing. It was Alicia who came up with something to save the day over and over and over again. So, I mean, I was like, why are we just digging this up? There's nothing else we can come up with. We just seem like, I don't know. It just seems there was no originality there. I wanted a little bit more. Or wanted them to bring out something else.
I feel like they need to add more time. They just threw that in.
Something. It just something.
It wrapped up too
It didn't
conveniently.
really fit
It was
the
too.
script. The writing was like, we need to add more time, so let's just throw this corny
this
part
in.
in.
Well, I guess my question then, if we can link it to other things, and obviously Alicia going forward is going to be the main story with her campaign. So let's try to link this to Alicia. Her relationship with Colin has been well documented for a long time now, and we kind of know that he's, like you said, her comfort zone.
Right.
Or she's his comfort zone, I should say. The coaching that she was doing today, not out of line, it's what a defense attorney does.
Absolutely.
Is that a prelude to anything in the future with Colin? Not to predict yet or anything, but I mean, he's threatened to leave the law firm. He's threatened to say, Carrie's the mole, when it turned out Renata was actually the
How
mole.
about that?
That was just, I don't even...
And talking about the people who finance her PAC.
Yeah, talking about the people who finance her PAC, that's a great point. That's kind of a dark omen that might come up to bite her again, but maybe it doesn't because Colin's pleased. Like, where does he go from here?
I don't think she cared. At the end of the day, she was like, you know what, I don't care. I'll do what I can, and if that doesn't work for you, go to the press because I don't care. Like, his threats doesn't mean anything to her.
She's idealistic enough, ignorant enough to think that the PAC doesn't matter. If you go to the press, it's not our PAC, we're not involved, so if you cut them off, I can still win the case based on what I believe.
Right.
Which is wrong.
And I also think it was really interesting, like in the show when the Bernard Loomis was having his interaction with his attorney, I can't remember her name was.
Krause, I think.
Not the attorney, like the attorney in the show, in the Call It Murder, Debbie something, who said I cannot be bought. Kind of
Debbie
thing, right?
Conlon.
Right, Debbie Conlon, who's supposed to be Alicia.
Alicia, right.
Back in the day, he was calling Alicia a goody two shoes, and you don't want to break the rules. And now, her coaching to Colin Sweeney in present day was nothing but not breaking the rules, but definitely going right up against the line. Like, she was playing all the gray areas in all of his coaching. So I think it shows how she's changed over time from like goody two shoes person to, well, we'll do whatever we need to do to win for our client.
Yep.
And it's just completely different than she was before.
And the flip side of that is Carrie and Diane confronting Colin and saying, you need to tell us you were joking about, which is true. They did. If a defense attorney knows, they can't know the truth. They have to just know what's been presented to them.
Yeah.
But them coming to him specifically and saying, we have to hear you say you were joking. Talk about playing by the rules.
Absolutely.
And then there's Alicia who's like, well, if you wanted to get on the stand, here's what you could say.
Can you act?
Yeah, basically, can you act?
You can answer the question without answering the question.
She did a great job.
Great,
He was like, oh, yes, go with that. Go on.
Tears and everything.
Of course he did a great job because he was aroused on the stand. He wasn't thinking about the prosecution. He was thinking about Renata.
Oh my gosh, there was so much sex in the air in this show. I can't even tell you.
It was just too much. Like,
was it too much, Allison, or was it just enough for you?
She was mad and she had a little attitude, and then the next minute, she was happy again.
Yes.
They're a special couple. Special couple.
Yeah, special's not the word I would use.
Right.
Troubled.
They're an outlier, and I don't mean that in a good way. I'm not talking about a Malcolm Gladwell outlier.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the bad side.
I think they both are troubled, and they have psychological issues.
Don't we all, though?
But if they do, they're solving each other's issues together as they bask in each other's pheromones and whatever else they said they were doing. So they're a special
funny
pair.
You ask me.
They're a special pair.
Hey, you know what? We all are just trying to find somebody to come home to at night. And if he can find somebody to come home to and choke the crap out of, and that's their thing,
Hey, man.
good for him.
Hey, man.
Just don't kill this one.
Right.
Try
But
not to.
what did I say when we were watching? If he cheats on you, or if he cheats with you, he'll cheat on you.
Right.
And
If he kills the woman before you,
then he will kill you. Duh.
Something to think about, Renata.
I think
Just put that out there.
Season 10, we're going to see the
Yeah.
Renata murder trial or something like that.
It's gonna be back.
coming.
It's coming.
He will be back, and he won't get away with it this time. There's your 4-year in advance prediction.
How to get away with murder?
No, well,
How
not
to
the
get
second
away
time.
with murder?
It's like OJ. OJ got away with murder the first time, and then he went to jail for the stealing his own merchandise.
I think that
Colin Sweeney's got the same. Yeah.
Oh, I get nervous whenever we mention OJ. It's just a dude.
Listen,
I think that was a plot
Colin
setup
called
type
himself
ordeal.
the White OJ, so this is fair.
He did. Totally.
These are facts.
It's absolutely true.
don't get emotional.
I loved how this was really subtle, but he called himself the White OJ on a camera angle of the black judge.
And
the judge was just kind of like sitting there, not offended, but like.
And he
what?
looked back on him like, yeah, I'm the White OJ.
That judge had like few lines, but his expressions and just the way he told how he felt the entire time, because Colin was crazy, the defense attorney was crazy for the
without a doubt.
network. Like that was the most insane courtroom ever. Ever.
Without a doubt. And there was one key in the courtroom. This is the only transition point we can find on these two topics, where Kalinda's phone rings and she has to take a call from Lamont Bishop. So let's talk about Kalinda. Colin Sweeney is always a sideshow. It's always kind of funny.
Yeah.
Maybe he will come up again with that whole
PAC
dark
thing.
money PAC thing, or maybe he will kill another person and we have to deal with him again. But in the meantime, there were serious parts of this story. And the first one is Kalinda and Lamont. He calls her and says, I need a favor.
Wait, before that, he says, why does it take you 8 rings to answer my call?
Sounds like a jealous boyfriend.
Excuse me?
Yeah, I don't like the one thing I can say about
let
the
me
Kalinda.
cut you off real quick,
Okay.
because I just realized this. This is
What?
what's different between men and women, or maybe just me and Allison. I'm focused on, hey, he wants a favor. This is crazy. our lovely, wonderful woman
focused
Allison is
on-
like, oh, you will not tell me
Focus
about the
on
8 rings.
You checking me talking about, excuse me, it took you 8. Hello? If it takes me 10 rings, like, I must have been busy. Like, who are you?
Yeah, ladies and
didn't like
gentlemen,
that
she
one.
is single and ready to mingle. We'll give her phone number out at the end of the show.
I'm
so you
single and I'm not ready to mingle.
wonderful kids can call her. Just kidding, we will not be giving her phone number out. Okay, rings aside.
Okay.
When Lamont Bishop said, it's time for your favor, whatever he said, what was going through y'all's head?
That definitely wasn't it.
Nope.
Definitely not. And the way he
Definitely
said, the favor you owe me, and I just thought it was going to be more dark or something, like terrible, especially when she met up with them and had the little gangster dudes. They're like,
Yeah.
we had to do all of that for you to tell me to pick up your son?
Pick up at 3:00.
I didn't know. I don't know if she was like supposed to be the bodyguard of some terrible criminal or something. I don't know. I thought it was going to be more like blood or something dangerous.
And why only for 2 weeks? Is he like on a job for 2 weeks that he can't do it, and so a bodyguard can't, or why
Or
the
is it a
short?
I don't
test,
know.
or he just want to test her? It's stupid.
It's really strange because even when he said, you need to be here at this address and gave her a sheet of paper at 3:00 for the next 2 weeks, you're going to pick up someone. Never did he say, why didn't he simply say, I need you to pick up my son at school.
She knows Dylan.
Right.
Yeah.
I need you to pick up my son from school for 2 weeks. Thanks. Like, why
Yeah,
did it be
was
this
just
big, mysterious
it was kinda petty.
thing? I don't
was
know.
Like, what are you?
It was this big,
I
mysterious
was
thing.
confused. And I want to know why for 2 weeks and not forever versus a day. Like, where's the old bodyguard? Like, what's going on? Did he kill him or something?
Yeah, or is Lamont just indisposed for 2 weeks? But you
Or
would have
does he
said
just want her company because he's starting to have someone there to talk to and confide in? So
that
don't
is.
know.
I'm glad you said that because that is my contention with Lamont right now. This may change. Remember my prediction a while ago about how Kalinda, who will leave the show,
Right.
My prediction was that Lamont would kill her because a couple episodes ago, that's what it was looking like.
Yeah.
I think now he's becoming too much of a sympathetic character. We're seeing too much of him with his son.
Get in his emotions,
The hardest
yeah.
thing I've ever had to do is raise
Yeah.
my son. It's not a Guatemalan gangster. It's my son. It's like, oh my God, dude. So with him being a sympathetic character as he is, I'm not sure he's going to kill her anymore. A lot can change.
I know what's going to
But-
happen. I'll tell you guys later, but
Oh, well, that sounds like a good prediction
that
for
sounds
later.
like a great
he's
prediction.
going to kill her in a different type of way.
He's going to kill her heart with love.
No.
I mean, I find it interesting that this whole Lamont Kalinda thing shows his one vulnerable spot, right? Like, this man has everyone in town trembling, but all you need is All-American Mike to threaten his son, and he's almost in tears. Like,
Right.
this is his soft spot.
But did you notice I thought he was going to get somebody to beat up that little boy. He just called the parents like, okay, I just want to let you know. Like, real calm. Like, what was that
Well,
about?
he's such a legend. I think when Mr. Dad, All-American Mike Sr. gets a call from Lamont Bishop, the dad's like, listen, All-American Mike Jr., I can't explain why,
Yeah.
but you can't touch this kid anymore because if you do, we're all going to disappear.
But what else can Lamont do but call the parents?
Yeah, I
like
know.
he has to be above board. I mean,
Yeah.
Kalinda already jacked up the kid in front of everybody.
Kids at a private school cannot just start going missing
Yeah.
every time one of them messes with Lamont Bishop's son, or that's going to look total red flag.
Yeah, poor kid. I mean, that's all he can do is try to do the right thing.
He can threaten the son and say, I won't touch your son, but the things that your son is doing to my son, I will do to you times 20. So you need to get that under control.
But I think that's his problem, though. I think that's where his frustration lies because anything outside of something dealing with his son, he would handle it that way. I'm Lamont Bishop. Don't you know who I am? You will disappear off this earth in 2 seconds. But with this kid, because it's his son, he can't do that. So I think that's where he feels like he feels trapped, and that's why I think he's so angry.
My question is, how are you the son of Lamont Bishop and you're such a little punk?
I'm glad that
Like,
you
you didn't
said
put him in
that.
fight classes or something?
And I
Like
have an
defense
answer for
class?
you.
What is your answer?
All of us, even us with no children, all of us, I think, would want, theoretically, our kids to do better than we
Right.
do. Like our parents wanted us to do better than they did. Even if they did well, you want your kids to do better. You want the next generation to be better. If you are Lamont Bishop and you sell you allegedly sell drugs for a living and kill people and do all this stuff, sure, you're intimidating, sure, you're successful, sure, you're whatever. But you look at your own son and you say, the stuff I had to do to get here, which we probably can't even imagine, I don't want him to go through that.
But at least he should
But that's
have
my
protection classes.
I don't want him in this life. I don't want him showing the slightest bit of aggression, because if he does, he falls into my path. I want to get him the furthest away I can, and that means him being the most normal kid, and it means not, even taking karate. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but nothing violent. He's a normal kid. I don't want him to live my life. I want him to do it on his own merits.
I mean, regardless, I feel like any parent even a normal parent, put their child in some type of defense class. Like, I'm going to put my kids in a defense class.
didn't.
You just need to know.
I just disable
Every
people with
child
wit.
should know how to protect themselves, Like,
Right, no, I agree. I mean,
that's just
I've never
weird.
been in a fight in my entire life, but my parents did say, if someone hits you, you defend yourself. You know what I mean? Like, it just didn't seem like Dylan had anything
Yeah, he
in
didn't want
him to
strike him
defend
back or
himself at
anything. Like,
all.
that was just weird. He's just a little punk. I don't
Look
like
at from his. Maybe he's a shy kid.
He is. And
Maybe he's clearly not, the Alison Law type.
definitely not.
But maybe
Couldn't
he's
be my son.
Maybe he's just a shy kid. Maybe he's trying to find his own. He's like 12 years old, man. You got to let him.
Didn't All-American Mike remind you of Bobby when he was younger? Everyone, if you agree, please leave a comment and say All-American Mike favored Bobby when he was younger. And you're a bully too, so it fits you well.
In what way have I ever bullied you?
What? We're not going to talk personal business.
And we are back. That's what I can say. And we
Okay.
are back.
We're the Brady
Check
Bunch,
the
guys.
Twitter direct messages.
Hashtag Bobby looks like All-American Mike.
You know what? That'd be fine, because All-American Mike probably loves America like me. He probably does his schoolwork like me. He might push little kids. I don't push little kids, but
You push big kids.
we might have a lot of similarities besides pushing little kids. So I'm with you, All-American Mike.
Okay.
Alrighty then.
Let's move on, because we've bottomed out on this one. And I want to hold the rest of Lamont Bishop. There's 100,000 predictions to be taken from that.
Yes.
So let's hold that for predictions.
Okay.
Because I think we're all going to have a Lamont Bishop
Yeah.
prediction probably. Although I will say, that is another smooth-looking man.
Oh yeah, no. Lamont is doing the doggone thing, but again, today I just wasn't feeling the ties. Like, in his suits, I mean, I love the combinations, the pinstripes and the stripes and the shirt, but I don't know, the ties are it just wasn't going for the ties today. I'm fine with it. We can go shopping and find another tie if that's what you like to do. But the ones I weren't feeling the ties. That's all good.
I didn't pay attention to the ties today.
Real quick, I guess last question that I'm thinking about him, the only reason I don't know why this popped up. Well, two things really. First off, who was he talking to on the phone when Kalinda came in at one point? He was like yelling and he had to stick his head out and say, okay, thanks or whatever. Mm-hmm. Is that significant, or does it just show the dichotomy between his son and his day job?
Honestly looks to me like he doesn't, as much as he wants protection and wants his son to be protected, it doesn't even look like he pay attention to him when he's at home. It's like he's always on that darn phone. Like, when does he ever have daddy-son time and like, how was school, what's going on? I don't know.
Well, he insinuated it. He said, I'll be up soon, do your homework, no video games. So theoretically, we think they spend time together.
Well, I don't know, because what he said to Kalinda is a part of your job is to tell me everything he says.
So why can't you talk to your son and figure out what he has to say?
Which alludes to the fact that your son's not talking to you. He is 12. You're in that
scared to talk to his dad.
I mean, those teenage years, you don't talk to your parents,
scared of his dad.
And it could be that he's scared, but he definitely showed that he was nervous because he said, Kalinda, do not tell my dad about this with All-American Mike. He'll just get mad.
Yeah.
Right?
And also, what's up with that car that's been following him for the past 2 days?
That was my next question.
Yeah.
Is it something? Was it the same Escalade each time?
It was.
So do we worry about this?
I think so. I mean, I think definitely something is going on, and for whatever reason, he thinks it has 2 weeks is involved. I don't know if it's something with the school, that he can't go to the school, or he thinks something's going on. I'm not really sure, but there's something.
Didn't Lamont used to pick him up from school?
I think so. I know we've have scenes where the two of them were in the car around, I guess, school ending time. I don't know.
Let me ask you guys a question that might blow your mind. Is the car trailing Dylan? Or is the car trailing Kalinda?
Look at you being smart and cute today.
Well, I will hold that into my predictions.
Oh, okay. All right.
For me, I'll hold that into my predictions.
There you have it.
Because we never got a final word when she called in the license plate. We never heard what the license plate was. Or no, we did.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, we did. She gave the name
She gave the name
Bishop,
to...
But it wasn't a significant
He didn't think
name.
anything of it. He was like, just tell me if it's the same one
but
tomorrow.
that can always be somebody else's car, not the exact people inside the
Yeah,
car.
for sure.
Totally.
So.
Interesting. Okay. I'll be interested to see what your prediction is, Tara. Let's move on to our third topic of the day. That is the big one, really. Let's talk Alicia, Frank, Guy Redmayne, Whew, how about Ed Asner?
Ed Asner is doing it. I am absolutely, when I saw him, I didn't know what to expect. And then the words that came out of his mouth, from 20-year-old testicles to, what did he say? I will bang her until she screams like a $5,000
night whore.
I was like, this is not the Ed Asner of before.
Do you know what I like to imagine? I like to imagine him going in, Ed Asner, not the character, Asner himself, going into casting and then being like, hey, we want to put you on The Good Wife, we want to do a character. And because he's so likable, I can imagine him being like, yeah, I have one request. I want to play a jackass.
Yeah, definitely.
Let me do something totally
He did
different.
a good job playing that
No,
role.
for sure.
I
Absolutely.
believed him for
Sure.
a second. I was like, can he really do that and have her like not walking for 2 weeks? Oh my God. Is
I
that
love the
possible?
response of, where? In your briefcase? I loved it.
It was cute. It was cute.
But what do we make about him, funniness aside, what do we make about Alicia having the ability to turn down his money when he started language advisories, calling everybody fags?
Yeah.
She didn't turn down the money.
I think what we're starting to see is, I think how naive Alicia was going into this whole campaign, thinking, I have good intentions, I can leave being a defense attorney and go to the good side and be city attorney and do all this good. But I don't think she realized the dirt that you have to go through to get there. And so you're starting to see it.
And it's starting to catch up with her.
Yeah, and she's making the choices to
handle it.
win. I mean, now it's to the point where she's like, I want to win.
But it's all a game.
It is all a game, and she's playing it now.
She's playing it, but it catches up to her when she talks with her daughter.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
Is it any less evil to abide by while evil goes on? Not to say that Guy Redmayne is evil, but the things he was saying were not above board.
sometimes everybody's money isn't good money. I don't know what may come with his money, so.
Well, you know it comes with his money. Come down, sit down, let me look at your pretty legs.
Listen.
You know it comes with the money.
No, wherever he was supposed to be from,
Perth.
California, Arizona,
I guess,
Phoenix.
yeah, something.
No, millionaire, billionaire in Phoenix is going to give $1 million to a state's attorney's race in Illinois and not want something in return.
I think
He's
we'll see him again.
disgusting, but you know what? He's rich.
So it doesn't matter.
But I think she could have. He was so enamored with her, right? That she could have told him off. He would have just completely gotten off on it because he thought she was hilarious and still taking the money. It was the fact she just didn't say anything.
She did kind of tell him off. He took the testicles in the briefcase thing as a joke, and it kind of was. There was also some truth to that. She was like,
Oh.
dude, you're not, stop it. Stop.
Yeah, but she could have said a lot more when he just simply
sure.
said about Frank Prady and said he's a fact. I'm sorry for the language, but called him
Yeah.
that. She never. She tried to clean up and
tried.
say, well, he
But at
was
the end of the
married, but
day-
that wasn't very convincing.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we all know Alicia's weak in her own little ways, certain areas, so she's not strong really at speaking up. She needed to be trained for that. If her little team told her, this is what you say if this is thrown at you, then that's when she's prepared for things. When something happens on her own, she's like, oh my God, what do I do? So,
And I feel like if Guy Redmayne is as much of a Democratic donor as he is, and as impactful in Democrat races and stuff like that, and extremely rich, and definitely eccentric, even if her team didn't know the whole fag thing, just because he's so eccentric, her campaign manager needs to know that and say, hey, listen, he's kind of a womanizer, he's
Right.
kind of a kook, whatever the thing is, here's the intel. Kind of be ready to bob and weave with this dude because he's weird.
But it's possible they didn't know because she said, do you command this much privacy all the time? And he was like, absolutely, I hate people.
That's a good point.
I love mankind, but I
But
hate people.
you would assume that Johnny, on some campaign at some level, would have run across Guy Redmayne or run across somebody who did and would know enough to be like, hey, listen, he may not know everything Guy Redmayne's going to say, but he may know enough to say, hey, listen, just watch for this.
right.
I don't
Expect
think,
this.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't think anyone would care because, like he said, I have money. And I'm writing $1 million checks. You keep your mouth closed. After the $1 million check is written, you forget the rest.
Alicia
Yeah.
came in to get one thing and to leave with one thing. And what was that? The money.
She got the money.
He could talk all the mess he wants. Okay. Yeah, I got the check too. I'm walking out with the money. So.
the
Well,
money.
here's my question. Is the money dirty? I mean, it's dark money, it's to her pack, so it is
Right.
kind of dirty. But is it dirty in the theoretical sense, in the sense with Alicia? Because of what he said, the things he wants are the things she wants. The gun control, the sped up prosecutions, those are good things. He likes our campaign issues. So the money on that regard is good. But is it all nullified by the fact that he called Prady a fag? You know, is it that morally cut and dry, or do you kind of say his language and his actions are different?
My question is, if Prady wasn't a fag, then who would have gotten the money?
I think Guy Redmayne. Okay, speaking as a guy who hears people say this all the time, I think Guy Redmayne is using fag, and this is up for debate, obviously, and interpretation. Right. I think he's using it not necessarily just in the gay sense, but in the wimpy sense. And it is a gay pejorative, and he wants to put that on Prady and say you're gay, you're acting gay, whatever it is.
He's a little punk.
Exactly. It's kind of a wimp thing, it's kind of a punk thing, and it's not necessarily as much as you would think a critique of homosexuality, although it most certainly is.
Right.
But it's that on top of you're a punk, you're a wimp, I don't like you, whatever that is. It's kind of a layered insult.
And then when little Miss Cute Alicia walked in, come on now, she's cuter than that. So
exactly.
She is.
I mean, you're pretty. Sometimes you get what you want.
It works.
Exactly.
But we digress. I mean, I don't think Alicia would have had as big of a problem with this and would have cried at the end of the episode had she and Frank Prady not been having these sidebar meetings that no one knows about. I mean, there's no good can come from these meetings. We all knew sooner or later it was going to get to a point where you're in a campaign and yes, you respect that person and all that kind of good stuff, but when when it's getting close to the polls and the numbers are running neck and neck, you shouldn't be having these sidebar conversations. So I think Frank is getting in her head more than she even wants to admit, to the point that now she's going to start.
I've always thought it was mental. What he was doing to me is bringing extra pressure and stress on her. So I've always thought that.
And we've yet to really see her ask anything of him. He's come to her and said, right, it's the robocall thing. Can you get your pack to stop? Can you get your pack to do this? We've yet to see Alicia go to him and say, can you get your campaign to not do this? It's always Frank to Alicia, and she's always complying with his requests.
I'm amazed that she's still polling behind because she won that debate in the kitchen.
Right, in the kitchen.
She won this robocall thing, even though she didn't like it. That robocall was effective enough that he needed it stopped, and she got Guy Redmayne's money. So Frank Prady should be losing.
Well, but at the end of the day, it's always this. Is it sexist? She's sexist, right? She's a woman. No. Whatever. She's a woman, he's a man. So, it's kind of always harder for her when a woman is running for a position.
Well, yeah, that's definitely true. But they did say at the beginning of the episode they were, as far as the polls with the margins, neck and neck.
They're within the margins. Sure.
So in the beginning was an 8-point lead that Frank Prady had. So she's completely caught up with him on that. Now she just needs to win. And now she's in it to win it. And that's why she got Redmayne's money.
Right? Mm-hmm.
And the question remains, what does Ed Asner want? Or, Guy Redmayne. Not really Ed Asner.
We know what he wants.
Well, besides Alicia. I'm saying besides Alicia, what does he want, Allison?
He wants that.
I think I know what that means.
I have no words. Okay, hey, we got a few minutes left, and I want to get enough time. I'm sure we probably missed something on Frank and Alicia. If we did, comment on YouTube, tweet us, all that good stuff. Hopefully we didn't miss anything huge.
I know.
I don't think we did, but I want to have enough time to get to predictions because this is going to be fun. So let's do predictions right now.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Whatever that noise was, Allison, you get to go first.
You have to.
What are you drinking?
What did I drink before? Golly, guys, why did you do this to me? My predictions. Come on, the show just came back on. I have to watch a few more, but off of this episode, I really don't know because I didn't see enough. I don't know what's going on with Peter. I haven't seen that much of Kalinda, just with her and Bishop, but I haven't seen her actually at work and seeing her what's going on with the case that happened before she left. Did she get caught? Did they find out? So I really don't know until the next few episodes so I can get a feel of what's going on.
Okay.
That was the most diplomatic way of saying you got nothing.
No, it's actually just me being safe right now. I'm not speaking too soon.
No, this is predictions. You're allowed to speak. This is the segment to speak soon.
But I do have one thing to say about little Kalinda and Lamont Bishop.
Okay.
I think they're going to do the...
We should get subtitles or something.
We know what's on Allison's mind tonight. It's been a tough weekend for her apparently. Tara, what do you have?
My prediction is, Kalinda and Lamont a little bit different though. Little different though.
Oh, what is it?
I do think we're starting to see, as I said before, Lamont's vulnerability with his son Dylan, and I do think there's something between and when Kalinda walked out the door, remember Dylan said, "Don't tell my dad." she found, Lamont found out. Kalinda turned around, and when she turned around, I thought she was turning around for Dylan in order to go back and try to calm Lamont down before he did something he'd regret later that would embarrass Dylan at school and all that kind of stuff. So I do see something happening, unfortunately, with Dylan that's going to make Lamont very vulnerable. He's either going to reach out to Alicia and Carrie and Diane to help him with this, but the person who's going to ultimately help save him, I think, is going to be Kalinda. And I think that's going to be the way Kalinda exits the show.
Our predictions are increasingly similar.
Great minds.
One major difference. I agree with you on Kalinda exiting the show over Dylan and Lamont. It's too far into the season, and she is too deep into this. Her FBI girlfriend's not going to come back. That'd be too random. This is the storyline that's going to kill off Kalinda one way or another.
Bobby, tell us.
So here's what happens.
Break it down, Bobby. Break it down.
Lamont is getting vulnerable. And Dylan is very important to him. Whoa, easy, Chief.
Including you.
You back off. And Dylan is very important to him. And we've already seen when Kalinda didn't tell him what All-American Mike did, how mad he got, just in the split second, and then calmed down and did the right thing. Dylan is valuable to other drug dealers, to Lamont's competitors.
Right.
Dylan is a kidnap risk. Always probably has been, certainly is now. I think Dylan gets kidnapped or taken or maybe even killed. I don't know. Something bad happens to Dylan. God bless him. I like him.
Yeah.
I think something bad happens to him. Lamont goes off the deep end, and in retaliation for not protecting him, maybe some other specifics happen, he kills Kalinda.
Like, you were supposed to protect her, and it's that car that's following them.
Wow,
and whether it's this car that's following him storyline or someone down the road that we won't obviously know because it's going to happen in a bunch of episodes.
To do a quick piggyback, remember she was in the car with him, and he was like, Big Mike, All-American dude, said that my dad killed my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that my dad killed my mom, and then my friend moved to Vegas, I mean, maybe that's true and we take it at face value, but maybe the friend moved to Vegas or something else happened. Who knows? Who knows?
Wow.
Let us know what you think about these predictions.
I think, listen, the broadest prediction for me is Kalinda is not going to exit the show alive. I think she's going to die.
Okay. I agree, but I still think after they have a moment.
I don't think any of that shoulder stuff happens. Just think.
Here's the
shoulders. Let me see what it looked like. Show me what it looked like. Show me.
I can't
what
repeat
the shoulders
that.
look like.
I can't repeat that.
Here's how it breaks down. It's like a horror movie when you think about it. A classic horror movie. Kalinda has sex and then she dies. That's what's going to happen.
Who said that?
You said she's going to have sex and I say she's going to die.
Did I ever say that?
No, she just worked it out with the shoulders.
I didn't know anything else, y'all.
On that note, Allison, I'm scared to ask, but if they wanted to tweet you,
guys,
where could they do
me at That's A Law, THATSALAW.
And you can find me on TJ Wagging Her Tail.
Goodness gracious, I'm on Twitter at Bobby DeMuro. That's it this week on The Good Wife. We'll be back 1 week from today for the next episode, which looks kooky.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens when we do it. But until then, talk to us on Twitter, YouTube, all that good stuff. See you guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.